Welcome back. I'm Pratap here. Today is the 24th February 2025. In this video, I'm going to generate different supply demand zone reports useful to the premium subscribers. Before that, please understand we are providing complete free training on supply demand zone price action. You might be knowing the cost of the training is over 8,000 US dollars, but we are providing complete free training and all the training lessons are available at our NeoStock YouTube channel. So at our channel homepage, click on the tab Posts. Some of you might be seeing the tab Community. Click on the tab. You get access to this post. This post is having a YouTube playlist link that will take you to all the training lessons. You just click on the link. Now we are into supply demand zone price action course, and here you have all the training lessons are available. You just need to scroll down to the bottom of the page. Here, starting from lesson 1.1, all the training lessons are placed in an order. So please go through all these lessons one by one. According to the training instructions I mentioned at our Telegram channel. I provided the link to our Telegram channel in this video description. So join at our Telegram channel. At Telegram channel window, at the top of the window, you can find pinned messages. Click on the pinned messages. You get access to all the training instructions. If you learn the course according to the training instructions, you will become a very good independent trader in the coming months. Now let's get into the report generation with the help of NeoStock Software Supply Demand Zone Top-Down Analysis Strategy Builder. First, let me start with finding the stocks near demand and supply zones and also price closed inside demand and supply zones for all the higher time frames, daily and above time frames. So let's start with the yearly time frame. Price closed inside the yearly demand zone. We got 5 stocks. I'm giving you only few seconds time to watch the report. I request you pause the video, study the report and then proceed to the next reports. In case if you does not understand the structure of this report, I request you complete the training lesson 21.1. In that video, I have explained each and every column, their values and abbreviations in detail. Next, yearly time frame. Price closed inside yearly supply zone. We don't have any stocks. Next time frame is a half yearly. Stocks near half yearly demand zone. We got 3 stocks. Next, half yearly time frame. Stocks near half yearly supply zone. No stocks are available. Half yearly time frame. Price closed inside the half yearly demand zone. We got 7 stocks. Next, half yearly time frame. Price closed inside half yearly supply zone. We got 2 stocks. Next time frame is quarterly. Stocks near quarterly demand zone. We got 8 stocks. Next, quarterly time frame. Stocks near quarterly supply zone. We got 4 stocks. Next, quarterly time frame. Price closed inside the quarterly demand zone. We got 43 stocks. First 23 stocks in the list. I'm scrolling the list down. So total 43. We can further filter this list based on the quarterly demand zone having quarterly EMA Confluence. Let's set that filters. EMA Confluence, quarterly demand zone having quarterly EMA Confluence, and trend on the quarterly should not be sideways. It can be up or down. Now the list is come down to 25. All these 25 quarterly demand zones are having quarterly EMA Confluence. And also current price closed inside these quarterly demand zones. Okay, next quarterly time frame. Price closed inside the quarterly supply zone. We got 3 stocks. Let's verify out of these 3 how many of these quarterly supply zones having quarterly EMA confluence. Quarterly supply zone with quarterly EMA and trend on quarterly should be up or down with these filters. Out of 2 stocks we got. These 2 stocks quarterly supply zones are having quarterly EMA confluence and current price closed inside those quarterly supply zones. Okay, next time frame is a monthly. Stocks near monthly demand zone. We got 19 stocks, first 16 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. Sorry, something wrong. I selected weekly. So let me correct my mistake. Selecting monthly time frame, stocks near monthly demand zone. We got 9 stocks. Sorry for the mistake. Next, monthly time frame, stocks near monthly supply zone. We got 2 stocks. Next, monthly time frame, price closed inside the monthly demand zone. We got 62 stocks. So first 20 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 62 stocks are filtered. We can further filter this list based on the monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence. So in the EMA confluence at monthly time frame, I am setting monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence, and trend on the monthly time frame should be either up or down. With these filters, the list is come down to 27 stocks. So first 22 stocks are filtered. Nifty 50 is also having a monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence. This we already discussed in January 14th video itself. We have Nifty monthly demand zone analysis video. Okay, I am scrolling the list down. So total 27 stocks are filtered. Next, monthly time frame, price closed inside the monthly supply zone. We got 8 stocks. Let's verify how many of these monthly supply zones having monthly EMA confluence. Monthly supply zone having monthly EMA confluence, and trend on monthly should be up or down. With these filters, we got 3 stocks. These 3 monthly supply zones are having monthly EMA confluence, and current price closed inside the monthly supply zone. So this is about monthly time frame. Next time frame is weekly. Stocks near weekly demand zone. So total 19 stocks are filtered. First 16 stocks on the list. So Nifty is near weekly pierced demand zone. That pierced demand zone we already analyzed in January 14th or 15th or 16th. One of those days we analyzed the video. Nifty monthly demand zone. At that time we identified this pierced demand zone, and inside the pierced demand zone newly created order flows are there. If you did not complete that video, listen that video. Okay, I am scrolling the list down. Total 19 stocks are filtered. Next, weekly time frame, stocks near weekly supply zone. We got 6 stocks. Next, weekly time frame, price closed inside the weekly demand zone. We got 78 stocks. First 15 stocks on the list. Let me scroll the list down quickly, then we will filter with EMA Confluence. I am scrolling the list down. So total 78 stocks. Out of the 78, how many of these weekly demand zones are having weekly EMA Confluence? Let us verify on the weekly time frame. Weekly demand zone having weekly EMA Confluence, and trend on the weekly should not be sideways. It can be up or down. Now the list is come down to only 14 stocks. These 14 weekly demand zones are having weekly EMA Confluence, and also current price closed inside these weekly demand zones. Next, weekly time frame, price closed inside the weekly supply zone. We got 12 stocks. Out of these 12 weekly supply zones, how many are having weekly EMA Confluence? Let us verify. Weekly supply zone having weekly EMA Confluence. Trend on weekly is either up or down. With these filters, we got 6 stocks. These 6 weekly supply zones are having weekly EMA Confluence, and also current price closed inside these weekly supply zones. So this is about weekly time frame. Next time frame is a daily. Entry time frame daily. Let us find the stocks near daily demand zone. We got 11 stocks. Out of these 11, how many are having high liquidity zones? Let us verify. BHEL is having a high liquidity zone. Coal India is having a high liquidity zone. NCC is having a high liquidity zone. Okay, we identified 3 high liquidity zones, but remember, some stocks are more than 1 year old. 5 minutes data may not be available while fine tuning, especially with the trading view. Okay, next, for daily time frame, stocks near daily supply zone, we got 18 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity supply zones from this list. AU Bank is having a daily high liquidity supply zone. Canara Bank is having a high liquidity daily supply zone. Hero Motors is having a high liquidity daily supply zone. Jubilant Foods is a pierced zone, so we don't consider for HLQ zone strategy. Manapuram is having a daily high liquidity supply zone. SAIL is having a daily high liquidity supply zone. That's it. We have identified 5 high liquidity daily supply zones from this list. Okay, the next, for daily time frame, price closed inside the daily demand zone, we got 74 stocks. Let me quickly scroll the list down, and then we will filter with daily EMA Confluence. I'm scrolling the list down. So total 74 stocks. Out of these 74, how many of these daily demand zones having daily EMA Confluence? Let's verify. Excuse me. Daily demand zone having daily EMA Confluence, and trend on the daily should not be sideways. It can be up or down. So with these filters, the list is come down to 17 stocks from the 74 stocks. These 17 daily demand zones are having daily EMA Confluence, and also current price closed inside the daily demand zone. Okay, next, for daily time frame, price closed inside the daily supply zone, we got 15 stocks. Out of these 15, how many daily supply zones are having daily EMA Confluence? Let us verify. The EMA Confluence, a daily time frame, daily supply zone having daily EMA Confluence, and trend on the daily time frame should not be sideways. It can be up or down. So with these filters, we got 5 stocks. So these 5 daily supply zones are having daily EMA Confluence. And also current price closed inside these daily supply zones. So this is about daily time frame. So next time frame is 125 minutes. Stocks near 125 minutes demand zone. We got 21 stocks. So first 15 stocks in the list. I'm scrolling the list down. So total 21 stocks are filtered. Okay, next 125 minutes time frame, stocks near 125 minutes supply zone, we got 12 stocks. Okay, next time frame is 75 minutes. Stocks near 75 minutes demand zone, we got 20 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity 75 minutes demand zones from this list. NIFTY Media, it is an indices, not part of F&O. Atul is having a high liquidity zone, but it is a pierced zone. So we can't consider this for our HLQ zone strategy. Okay, DMart is having a valid 75 minutes high liquidity demand zone. Next, Indian Hotels is having a high liquidity 75 minutes demand zone. Next, Infy is having a high liquidity 75 minutes demand zone. SAIL is having a high liquidity 75 minutes demand zone. Tata Chemicals is having a high liquidity 75 minutes demand zone. So total 5 75 minutes high liquidity demand zones we identified from this list. Okay, next for 75 minutes time frame, let us find the stocks near 75 minutes supply zone. We got 8 stocks. Out of these 8, let us find high liquidity 75 minutes supply zones. No, we don't have any high liquidity 75 minute supply zones from this list. Okay, next time frame is 25 minutes. Stocks near 25 minutes demand zone. We got 4 stocks. Next 25 minutes time frame. Stocks near 25 minutes supply zone. We got 11 stocks. Next time frame is 15 minutes. Stocks near 15 minutes demand zone. We got 4 stocks. Out of these 4, how many are having ITF demand zone confluence? Let us verify. That is 5 minutes demand zone with 15 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. LTF, ITF demand zone confluence. We got 2 stocks. And the first one is a pierced zone. Okay, next 15 minutes time frame. Stocks near 15 minutes supply zone. 4 stocks are filtered. Out of these 4, how many supply zones are having ITF confluence? Let us verify. In the supply zone confluence, I am setting the filter 15 minute supply zone having 75 minute supply zone confluence. With this filter, we don't have any zone confluence supported stocks. Okay, next time frame is 5 minutes. Stocks near 5 minutes demand zone. We got 13 stocks. Out of these 13, how many are having ITF supply zone, ITF demand zone confluence? So let's verify. That is 5 minutes demand zone with 15 minutes demand zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. With this filter, out of 13, we got 10 stocks. In these 10 stocks, few are pierced zones. You can ignore them. Okay, next 5 minutes time frame. Stocks near 5 minutes supply zone. We got 12 stocks. Out of these 12, how many supply zones are having ITF zone confluence? Let us verify. That is 5 minute supply zone with 15 minute supply zone confluence. I'm enabling the filter. With this filter, we got only one stock. So this is about stocks near demand and supply zones for different time frames. We also identified daily and 75 minutes high liquidity zones. Next, we will look into NIFTY, BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain. Let me start with NIFTY. Starting from monthly time frame, generating NIFTY supply demand zone chain for monthly time frame. So this is a NIFTY monthly supply demand zone chain. Always look into the zone column to find high liquidity zones. Look into the pierced column to find the pierced zones. Always look into the LTF trend to find the trend of the current time frame you have selected. So this is the way you can apply these points for the remaining supply demand zone chain reports. Okay, next. Weekly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, daily supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. This is the nearest demand zone to the current closing price. Next, 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. $23 is the nearest demand zone to the current closing price. Let me put it in the center. Okay, next 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. All these are all supply zones. Let me scroll the list down. And 37 is the nearest demand zone to the current closing price, the 15 minutes demand zone. Okay, next 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. All these are all supply zones. I'm scrolling the list down. And in this page also all are supply zone. Let me scroll the list further down. So 66, we have the nearest demand zone to the current closing price. So this is about NIFTY supply demand zone chain. Next, let us look into the BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain. changing the name to Nifty Bank. That is nothing but BANKNIFTY. So monthly time frame, generating monthly supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, weekly supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, daily supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Thirteenth is the nearest demand zone to the current closing price. Sorry, 15th, item number 15 or serial number 15. Next, 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Serial number 18 is the nearest demand zone to the current closing price. Okay, next time frame is 15 minutes. (15-minute) supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. And the nearest zone to the current closing price is 23rd nearest demand zone to the current closing price. So let me put it in the center. Okay, next, 5-minute supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. All these are all supply zones. I'm scrolling the list down. Serial number 33 is the nearest demand, 5 minutes demand zone to the current closing price. Similarly, 32 is the nearest supply zone to the current closing price. That means price is closed in between this supply zone and this demand zone. This is how we should understand. Okay, this is about the BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain. So next reports are about bullish and bearish trade setups for all the 4 income trades: monthly, weekly, daily and hourly income trade. Let me start with monthly income trade, bullish trade setup, entry time frame daily, entry zone, demand zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup, I am selecting bullish. Zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum odd and enhance score 12. With these filters, we got 7 stocks. Currently, these 7 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for a monthly income trade. And all these entry time frame zones are daily demand zones. Out of these 7 daily demand zones, we can further filter to check the high probability to get success. It is only a probability game. So first filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. Let's verify. LTF is daily, ITF is weekly. So daily demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. Enable the filter. Now from 7, 5 stocks are filtered. In these 5 stocks, these daily demand zones are overlapped with weekly demand zones. And the weekly trend is up in all these stocks, ITF trend. So let's verify how many weekly demand zones are having weekly EMA confluence. Inside that weekly demand zone, we have these daily demand zones. So in the EMA confluence weekly time frame, I am setting the filter weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence. We got only 2 stocks. In these 2 stocks, these daily demand zones are overlapped with weekly demand zone, and those weekly demand zones are having weekly EMA confluence. That way we can say these two are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Okay, next we will look into LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence. Removing EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, already we set daily with weekly. Next, daily demand zone with monthly demand zone confluence, weekly demand zone with monthly demand zone confluence. With all the three filters, we got only one stock. So in this stock, this daily demand zone is overlapped with weekly, both together again overlapped with monthly demand zone, and monthly trend is up. If this monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence, it could be even more high probability trade setup supported stock. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence, at monthly time frame, checking monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence. So it is filtered. So it's even more high probability trade setup supported stock, and moreover it is tested. And now price is moving to all-time high. Maybe tested today, maybe. So this is about bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Entry time frame daily, entry zone, supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at daily, I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement VOZ, minimum order enhances score 12. With these filters, we got 4 stocks. These 4 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for monthly income trade, and all these entry time frame zones are daily supply zones. Let us identify high probability supported zones based on the zone confluence. So first filter LTF, ITF supply zone confluence. That is a daily and a weekly supply zone confluence. I enabled the filter. Out of 4, we got all 4. That means in all these 4 stocks, these daily supply zones are overlapped with weekly supply zone, and a weekly trend is down in all these stocks, that is ITF trend. Let's verify weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence. In the weekly, I am checking weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence. All 4 stocks are filtered. That means all these 4 stocks are high probability trade setup supported stocks based on LTF and ITF supply zone confluence and EMA confluence. Next, we will look into LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence and then EMA confluence, HTF, EMA. So remove EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, first filter is already enabled. Next, daily with monthly supply zone confluence. Next, weekly with monthly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 2 stocks. In these 2 stocks, these daily supply zones are overlapped with weekly supply zone. Both together again overlapped with monthly supply zone. But monthly trend is sideways. So monthly EMA does not give any extra advantage. So this is bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Next, we will look into weekly income trade, bullish and bearish trade setup. First, bullish trade setup, weekly income trade. Entry time frame 75 minutes. Entry zone is a demand zone. In bullish or bearish at 75, I am selecting bullish. Zone achievement VOZ, minimum order enhances score 12. And 75 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 75 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means pierced count is 0. That means zone is not pierced. So with these filters, we got 4 stocks. So these 4 stocks are currently supporting bullish trade setup for weekly income trade, and these entry time frame zones are 75 minutes demand zones. Out of these 4 75 minutes demand zone, how many are probably supporting high probability trade setup supported zones? Let us verify. So first one is LTF, ITF demand zone confluence, that is 75 with daily demand zone confluence. Enable the filter. We got all the 4 stocks. That means in all these 4 stocks, these 75 minutes demand zones are overlapped with daily demand zone, and the daily trend is up in all these stocks. If daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence, then those stocks are even more high probability trade setup supported stock. Let's verify. So this one stock is having a EMA confluence. So this 75-minute zone is overlapped with the daily demand zone. That daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence. That way this is even more high probability trade setup supported stock. Next we will look into LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence. I am removing EMA filter. So in the demand zone confluence, first filter is already enabled. Next, second 75 with weekly demand zone confluence, daily demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. With all the three filters, we got three stocks. In these three stocks, these daily demand zones are overlapped with weekly demand zone. Both together, these are the 75 minutes demand zones. These 75 minutes demand zones are overlapped with daily demand zone. Both together again overlapped with weekly demand zone. But weekly trend is up in only one stock. If this stock is having weekly demand zone with weekly EMA, it could be even more high probability trade setup supported stock to get the success. Let us verify. In the EMA confluence at weekly time frame, I am setting the filter weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence or not. So it is not having weekly EMA confluence. Okay, this is about bullish trade setup, weekly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup, weekly income trade, entry time frame 75 minutes, entry zone, supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade at 75 minutes, I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement VOZ, minimum odd enhancer score 12. And pierced count at 75 minutes, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means 75 minutes supply zone should not be pierced. With these filters, we got 10 stocks. All these 10 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. And all these entry time frame zones should be supply zones. Out of these 10 75-minute supply zones, there could be some high probability trade setup supported supply zones might be available. We can find them based on the zone confluence. So first filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is 75 minutes and daily supply zone confluence. That means 75 minute supply zone should overlap with the daily supply zone. Let's find. We got 8 stocks. In all these 8 stocks, these 75 minute supply zones are overlapped with daily supply zone. And daily trend is down in all these stocks. ITF trend. Let's verify if any of the daily supply zones are having daily EMA confluence. So in the EMA at a daily time frame, I am selecting daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence. We got 4 stocks. So these 4 75 minute supply zones are high probability trade setup supported stocks. This is based on LTF, ITF supply zone confluence and ITF EMA confluence. Next we will look into LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence and then HTF EMA confluence. Removing ITF EMA filter. So in the supply zone confluence, already one filter we enabled. Next 75 minute supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence. Daily supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 3 stocks. In all the 3 stocks, these 75 minute supply zones are overlapped with daily supply zone. Again, both together overlapped with weekly supply zone. And the weekly trend is down in all the 3 stocks. If weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let's verify. EMA confluence at weekly, I am setting weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence. Out of 3, we got 2 stocks. So these 2 are even more high probability trade setup supported 75 minute supply zones, these 2 stocks. So this is about a weekly income trade bearish trade setup. Next, we will look into daily income trade bullish and bearish trade setups. Daily income trade bullish trade setup, entry time frame 15 minutes, entry zone demand zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup, at 15 minutes I am selecting bullish, zone achievement violated, opposing zone, minimum odd and enhanced score 12, and 15 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So minimum value 0, maximum value 0. So with these filters we got 5 stocks. So currently these 5 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for a daily income trade, and entry time frame zones are 15 minutes demand zones. We have 5 15 minutes demand zones. Out of these 5 15 minutes demand zones, some could be even more high probability to get the success. Let us find them based on the zone confluence. First filter LTF, ITF, demand zone confluence, that is 15 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone confluence. With this filter we got all the 5 stocks. That means all these 5 weekly 15 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone, and 75 minutes trend, ITF trend, is up in all these stocks. If 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence, then those stocks could be even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let's verify. At 75 minutes time frame, I am setting the filter 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence or not. With these filters, out of 5 we got 3 stocks. In these 3 stocks, the 75 minutes demand zones are overlapped with these 15 minutes demand zones, and that 75 minute zone is also having daily EMA confluence. That way these 3 15 minutes demand zones are even more high probability supported zones. This is based on LTF, ITF demand zone and ITF EMA confluence. Next we will look into LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence, later HTF EMA confluence. Let's verify. I am removing this ITF EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled. Next 15 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. Next 75 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 5 stocks. That means in all these 5 stocks, these 15 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. Both together again overlapped with daily demand zone. But daily trend is up only 2 stocks. If in those 2 stocks, if any of them are having daily EMA confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks to get the success. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence at daily time frame, I am setting the filter daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence or not, and trend on the daily should not be sideways, so it should be uptrend because it is bullish trade setup. Now we got 1 stock. So this stock is even more high probability trade setup supported 15 minutes demand zone. So this is a bullish trade setup for a daily income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Entry time frame 15 minutes, entry zone supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at 15 minutes, I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement VOZ, minimum odd enhanced score 12, and 15 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 15 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means 15 minute supply zone should not be pierced. With these filters, we got 15 stocks. All these 15 stocks are currently supporting bearish trade setup for daily income trade, and all these entry time frame zones are supply zones. Nifty 50 is also having a bearish trade setup. Some of these supply zones are high liquidity supply zones. 15 minutes high liquidity supply zones. Okay, out of these 15 minute supply zones, how many are having even more high probability to get success based on zone confluence? Let's verify. First filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is 15 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. So with this filter, out of 15, we got 14 stocks. That means in these 14 stocks, these 15-minute supply zones are overlapped with 75-minute supply zone. And 75-minute trend, ITF trend, is down in all these stocks. If any of these 75-minute supply zones are having daily EMA confluence, then these 15-minute supply zones are having even more high probability to get the success. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame, I am setting the filter 75 minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence or not. We got 4 stocks. So these 4 supply zones are having more success rate, more probability to get the success rate. Okay, this is based on LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. Next, let us further filter based on LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence. I am removing this EMA filter, ITF specific. Next, we will get into the supply zone confluence. Here, first filter is already enabled. Next, 15-minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence, 75-minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters enabled, we got 6 stocks. And in these 6 stocks, these 15-minute supply zones are overlapped with 75-minute supply zones. They are further both together again overlapped with daily supply zone. And the daily trend, HTF daily trend, is down in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stocks out of 6. If in those 5 stocks, if any of the daily supply zones are having daily EMA confluence, then these 15-minute supply zones could be even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let us verify. In the EMA confluence at a daily time frame, I am setting the filter daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence. One stock is having a trend, daily trend sideways, we have to eliminate that. So trend should be downtrend, daily trend, because it is a bearish trade setup. So with this filter, we got 3 stocks including Nifty 50. So these 3 stocks are having even more high probability to get the success. I am not saying they will be successful. Probability point of view, they have more probability. Because the daily, this 15 minutes supply zone is overlapped with 75, both together overlapped with the daily supply zone, and that daily supply zone is having daily EMA confluence. So this is about bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Next, we will look into bullish trade setup for hourly income trade. Entry time frame 5 minutes, entry zone, demand zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at 5 minutes, I am selecting bullish, and zone achievement should be VOZ. Minimum odd and enhanced score should be 12, and 5 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the 5 minutes, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. With these filters, we got 3 stocks. So these 3 are currently supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade. Out of these 3, how many are having ITF demand zone confluence? Let's verify. That is 5 minutes demand zone with 15 minutes demand zone confluence. 2 stocks are filtered. And in these 2, 15 minutes trend is up. If any of the 15 minutes demand zone are having daily EMA confluence, let us verify. Mostly it's not easy to get EMA confluence for 15 minutes, but rarely we may get. We will check. So none of the stocks are having 15 minutes demand zone with EMA, daily EMA confluence. So this is bullish trade setup for hourly income trade. Next, we will look into LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence. This is ITF EMA confluence. I am removing it. Now let's focus on HTF. So we already enabled 5 minutes with 15 minutes zone confluence. Next 5 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. 15 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. With all the three filters enabled, we got two stocks. In these two stocks, these 5 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 15 minutes demand zone. Both together overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. That means these two are fine-tuned 5 minute zones inside 75 minutes demand zone. And 75 minutes trend is up in only one stock. If that stock is having daily EMA confluence, it could be even more high probability trade setup 5 minutes demand zone. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame, I am setting that 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence or not, and trend should not be sideways at 75 minutes. So I am selecting up because it is bullish trade setup. So we don't have any stocks. That stock is not having EMA confluence. So this is bullish trade setup for hourly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. Entry time frame 5 minutes, entry zone, supply zone in bullish or bearish trade setup. At 5 minutes, I am selecting bearish, and zone achievement VOZ, minimum order enhances score 12, and 5 minutes supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 5 minutes, I am selecting minimum value 0, maximum value 0 with all the three filters. We got 13 stocks. So these 13 stocks are currently supporting bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. And all these 5 minute supply zones are entry time frames for hourly income trade. We have 13 stocks are there. Out of these 13 5 minute supply zone, how many of them are having ITF supply zone confluence? That means 5 minute supply zone should overlap with 15 minute supply zone. Let's verify. In the supply zone confluence, I am enabling the filter 5 minute supply zone with 15 minute supply zone confluence. With this filter, we got 9 stocks. In all these 9 stocks, 5 minute supply zones are overlapped with 15 minute supply zone. And also 15 minutes trend is a down in all these stocks, ITF trend. Let's verify if any of these 15 minute supply zones are having daily EMA confluence. So in the EMA confluence, 15 minutes time frame, we are checking 15 minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence. So none of those 15 minute supply zones are having daily EMA confluence. Okay, fine. Next, let us look into LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence. Removing this ITF EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled. Second filter, 5 minute supply zone with 75 minute supply zone confluence. 15 minute supply zone with 75 minute supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 7 stocks. That means in all these 7 stocks, these 5 minute supply zones are overlapped with 15 minute supply zone, and both together again overlapped with 75 minute supply zone. That means all these 5 minute supply zones are fine-tuned supply zones inside 75 minute supply zone. And that 75 minute supply zone HTF trend is a downtrend in all the stocks except 2, second and third are sideways. So we have to ignore. And if remaining stocks, if 75 minute supply zones are having daily EMA confluence, then these 5 minute supply zones might be having even more probability to get success. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame, I am setting the filter 75 minute supply zone is having daily EMA confluence or not. So with this filter, and one more filter we have to set, because 2 stocks sideways, we have to eliminate them. So in the trend at 75 minutes time frame, I am selecting only downtrend because it is bearish trade setup. So with these filters, we got only 1 stock. So probably this stock might be having more probability to get the more high probability to get the success. So this is a bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. Okay, in the final report, let us generate stop buffers based on daily ATR. First 17 in this list are indices, remaining all are equity stocks. So I am scrolling the list down, whichever the stock you want to refer, there pause the video. After that you can proceed further. Okay, I am scrolling the list down. So this is the end of the report. Hope this information will be useful to you for your further study and analysis. Let's all meet again in our next video. Thank you.